How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Happy to be live on the internet.
Yeah, I guess we are
Yeah,
live on the internet.
that's the rumor.
Um, so this is a quick little interview of one of my um, D&D buddies who I met on the internet in a one-shot forum. We actually played in that one-shot together.
Yes, yeah. God,
Fun.
that was a while ago now.
That was a while ago. Fun fact. Kate, one of the players on my stream was supposed to play with us that day,
Oh,
and she ended up not being able to make it. But now she's on the stream with us.
yeah. I was watching your your premiere there. The Veil.
Veils
What
of
is that?
Vengeance. Veils and
Veils of
Vengeance.
Vengeance. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that was a lot of fun. Um, and since then, I've had you come play in my homebrew campaign that I don't stream for a really RP heavy session that you
That was
totally
good.
killed.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
It's fun.
And so I just wanted to come and have you on the channel and talk to you about some Dungeons and Dragons.
Let's do it. I love it. My favorite game.
Awesome. So tell me just a little bit about yourself as a person, like who you are, as
Sure,
much
sure.
information as you're willing to put on the internet.
Yeah, you got it. So I'm got an awesome wife and an awesome son. He is 16, and I live in corn and beans country, Western Ohio. And I started playing D&D in 1982, a
Ooh.
long time ago, with the big red box basic edition set. Caves of Chaos, Keep on the Borderlands, all that cool stuff. So I played for probably 8 years, and then just started lifing and adulting and colleging, and I just discovered Twitch last would be December of 2017, and I had no idea D&D was being streamed or what. I mean, I had totally lost touch with the whole thing, and here we are. We're D&D now.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
am
awesome.
super glad to have met you. Is that a Buffalo Bills shirt?
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. Is that a Buffalo Bills phone case?
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
My partner is from Buffalo and is a
There you go.
huge Bills fan.
Woo! Yay, partner.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know. He's not watching the stream right now, but he would be freaking out right now.
Well, now he's like my
Oh,
partner.
he is watching the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the
That's
chat, he says,
hilarious.
let's go Buffalo. I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
Where was I? I got so distracted by your shirt. Oh yeah, I love how I just want to say I love how positive you are on Twitter. I feel like you're a great kind of role model for
Oh,
there's a stereotype about the old guard of
yeah.
D&D
Yep.
who are gatekeepers and not
Yeah.
welcoming, and you are the complete opposite of that. I have noticed. I every
I'm
time I see a
old, but
tweet,
I'm really friendly.
yeah, every time I see a tweet from you, it always makes me smile. Makes my day a little bit better.
Good.
Which is one of the reasons why I am so excited that I get to interview today.
Heck yeah, man. It's just so much better being nice. It's such a great game, and
Yeah,
there's just, in my opinion, there's no room for that garbage. All are welcome. Let's all play and have fun and sling dice and kill creatures and make ourselves cry and all that cool stuff. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
definitely. So, okay, tell me about if you can the first time you ever heard about D&D.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I was a freshman in high school, and some friends of mine were playing, and we had like double curse, right? We're band kids and
Oh,
D&D kids, right? And in the
oh,
'80s, that's like kiss of death.
what'd you play?
Um, Trombone, yeah,
Nice.
still play.
Clarinet and saxophone
Um,
right here.
nice woodwinds in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were playing D&D, and they asked if I wanted to try it, so I was like, heck yeah. And that's a life changer. My life has never been the same since learning how to play D&D. In fact, I've still got a few of my original color me in little plastic dice.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
so
that's about all
funny.
that survived. I let my younger brother take ownership of my collection of books, and turns out that didn't end well. So
Oh no.
yeah, But yeah, so we played a lot. It was a bunch of us, just friends in high school, and
Yeah.
we ate ice cream and potato chips and drank gallons of Mountain Dew and played D&D until our eyes couldn't, stay open anymore.
That's
Right?
amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's the dream. You must have so many great memories from that time.
I do. A lot of good times. But I'll tell you what, I was definitely, I was 14, so murder hobo,
Mm.
kill it, get the Chinese, get out, So
Yeah.
we RP'd, but we didn't do like a lot of voice work and stuff like I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn how to do now. But, it was in its infancy, and so were we. And thankfully, I've grown up since then. So.
Yeah, of course. That's the name of the game, I think. So what do you remember your first D&D character?
I do. He was a thief, human. His name was Chermin.
Sherman?
Chermin. Chermin. I don't know where that came from, but he was my first character. And then we got into another campaign of friends, and we all had characters that turned into gods and all that stuff. And I had named mine Thulsadoom from Conan the Barbarian. So he was like my big. I think everybody growing up, especially if you played as a kid, I think we all had that OP, character that you think back like mythical, amazing, And of course, we had all the treasure there was, and every magic item and artifacts and all that, back in the day. But Thulsadoom was kind of my OP fighter guy. So we all ended up with castles and followers and all that cool stuff. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yep, back in the day, it was Basic Edition, Expert Edition, and then AD&D came out, and I made it as far as Second Edition before I got busy doing adult stuff. So.
Doing adult stuff.
Yep.
That's so cool. I definitely wish that I had discovered D&D sooner, but I think looking back, it came at the perfect time in my life for me when I was kind of learning who I was as a person, and I get to explore that a little bit through D&D.
Yeah.
So what have you learned about yourself through D&D, whether it was back in the day or currently?
Yeah, I learned how creative I am and how it's okay to be creative, like kind of let yourself go. Like we had a pretty safe environment. I would say, it was typical high school boys. So I'm sure that by today's standards, we weren't the most welcoming bunch. But I might blame that on not knowing better. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think I would have been delighted to have females playing D&D with us because, when you're 14, 15, 16 years old, who doesn't want to hang around girls?
Exactly.
But I learned it was okay to open up a little bit and be creative and be nerdy. And there was other, nerdy people like me. So I learned that about myself. And I've also learned that, since getting back into the community, getting into the Twitch community of D&D and the Twitter community, it's still okay to be a nerd. In fact, it's a lot more okay now than it was then. And I love the community I'm in. It's a bunch of just nerdy D&D, ttrpg, fun, awesome, cool people.
Yeah.
And, there's so much anger and judgment and shenanigans out there. It's really nice to have just a safe place to go hang out and be myself. So.
Yeah, that's really incredible. So I kind of want to talk about the resurgence of D&D a little bit. I'm assuming you've watched at least a little bit of Critical Role.
Yes, I have.
I was wondering how you feel about, aside from just good, how you feel about this renaissance of D&D that's kind of inspired by the Twitch community and Critical Role, voice actors playing D&D. How you feel about what this is kind of doing to the game and its popularity and all of those things.
Yeah, great question. To me, D&D will always be colored in dice with crayons and Gary Gygax and, my earliest memories of it. But it's evolved into so much more. And I was at Gen Con for the first time just last month.
Wait, you Sunday. Were at Gen Con? I was at Gen Con. Why didn't we hang out?
A couple hours on Sunday. I was a last minute thing. I got to play in a game. Do you know DM Shane from the Greyhawk channel?
Yeah.
Got to play in a live game at his table. That was really cool. And the Gen Con thing, I was shocked at how big it is because, that's the original gaming convention.
Yeah.
From Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And it was probably Swisher Sweets and a bag of chips and 2 Mountain Dews and 10 guys the first year kind of thing, And it's turned into this huge industry. But the Critical Role thing's funny because when I first saw that, it felt really commercial to me. Like, you know how reality TV is like not fully scripted, but it's like reality, and so therefore, is it really reality? So I was really concerned that Critical Role was going to be like that, like it was going to be overdone acting, franchised sort of commercial D&D, and I couldn't be more wrong. I finally was like, just watch it, you judgmental guy. So I did, and that was after seeing Matthew Mercer play in a couple of stream games. And I'm like, man, this dude's really awesome. What's your problem, Scott? So I guess maybe because it just wasn't like I thought it would be, my original D&D kind of thing. Yeah. And I went out there and watched it, and it's dynamite, man. The obviously the acting is excellent because we're all professionals. Right. But what strikes me about it is it's any group of people's table. It's the same thing that like you and I shared with your group. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing you see on streamed games. If you watch, like I play over on Castle Mac.
Yep, they're in the chat. They said, hey.
They oh cool, hey, Castle Max. They play, my kind of D&D around a table. It's just, cammed and streamed. But that's what Critical Role is. It's a bunch of tight friends having laughs and tears, and the D&D is just awesome. It's
oh yeah.
And a lot of people want to say it's staged, or I don't know how it could be. It's just good D&D, great acting, and I really, really enjoy it. But I'm still learning all the, man, I got episodes and stuff to catch up on, but really cool.
I got into Critical Role through a person who I got into D&D. I was their first DM, and they started to watch it, and I was like, it's not for me. Like, it was one of those things that I just kind of had this, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's similar to what you said. And then I watched an episode, and I remember starting to watch the first episodes when the production quality was like really low, and they're using like low cameras, and oh my gosh, back in the day. And I absolutely fell in love with them. And I think one of the things that people maybe don't think about, or maybe they do, maybe they just don't have a full understanding of it, but as somebody with a little bit of an acting background, these people are highly trained in improv. So it looks like they are maybe scripting, or they have everything planned out, but these people are just trained. They're obviously, like you said, they're professional voice actors, and so they are trained to react on the fly in character. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of what makes it so amazing to watch, is that they get so into character, and they make you believe that's who they are. And I think it's like the best parts of watching a live play, and the best parts of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Because it's still D&D. There's still dice rolling. There's still fantasy and swordplay, but the acting, the voicing is so good, and it just inspires. And I think it's inspiring a whole. Yeah. I know it is. Thousands of fans getting into Dungeons and Dragons now as a result, and I'm still having trouble finding out where the downside of that is. The more people we can get playing our game, the better off I think we all are.
Exactly. And I have more questions, I promise. This is just turning into me and you talking now. But one of the cool things I love about D&D is that it can be different for everybody. Everybody has a different play style. Every DM is so different. Yeah. It's really incredible, and you can have such different experiences, good or bad, neutral, with just by switching different groups, or maybe having one additional player show up. So tell us a little bit about your, I guess, progression as a player. Yeah. What kind of type you consider yourself to be, what things you love about D&D as a player.
Sure. The thing I'm finding with Dungeons & Dragons this go-around, having discovered Twitch, and I kind of cut my streaming teeth on watching Encounter Roleplay, and then through that, just meeting all the other streamers. I started playing on some one-shots that were streamed, just terrified. Like, oh, they're going to think I suck, I'm such an old fart. And it was fine. So one of the things I love right away about D&D is the welcoming community. And in particular, I think that's why I am such a gatekeeper. I just won't tolerate that, because it's such a welcoming, fun game. And, there's an element of family, I think, that you create around the table. And I
Yeah.
know, there are some people that have been kicked around and treated like shit their entire lives or misunderstood. And we've got this really cool thing to offer to be friends and family with folks that are struggling. And I'm not going to allow, people to louse that up. It's just too important that people all have a place to go do something they love to do. So the thing I love probably most about D&D is the community and meeting all the diverse people, that I get to play with. But then the relationships that form, I love that. I love the fact that I like fantasy. I've been a Tolkien reader since about fourth grade when I first saw that Rankin Bass Hobbit. That started me in my interest. So I guess that's probably why I chose that for a Twitter handle, and use that little Bilbo Baggins icon. But when you put all that together and you get to take chances and be yourself and get outside yourself and critically think and fail and succeed and all of that together, and you wrap it in a story, I just can't get enough of it. Just love it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've talked about this on a few of my other interviews, but something that is really cool is that when you make a memory in D&D as a player, it's stored in the same place as your memory as a human being, as your character. So they're both the same kind of memories.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the same place. It's just you have another layer, and I think that is fascinating. I think that is so cool. We love to play the game, but there's also more going on. For example, there's this really fascinating book called The Body Keeps the Score. I definitely recommend everybody read it. Kind of talks about how trauma can change your physiology, and one of the ways that this guy suggests to kind of like rewire your brain is through theater, which is highly applicable to the way that some people play D&D.
Yeah.
So you are actually rewiring your brain when you play Dungeons and Dragons, and I think that is so cool. Like you said, giving people who maybe have had a rough go at life, maybe they've, got some things that they want to escape from or they want to explore through D&D. You can do both. You can do either. You can do neither. It's really incredible, and it's much more than just this nerdy hobby that my friends tease me for.
Well, you mentioned something important, Camille. It's your game. It's your individual experience, and that's one of the cool things. There's like D&D has rules, and we try to follow them because it keeps the game moving the way it should, and they're there for a reason. But they're guidelines more than rules. They make the world work, but it's your game. So whatever your campaign or your table decides it wants to do, is A-okay. Like I've just got into my whole D&D has come full circle, and I've gotten into a real life campaign full of guys that are my age that have been playing off and on together since like junior high school, and they're in Strahd right now, but their actual campaign is in Faerun. And I don't know how we got to Strahd, and I got to Barovia the same way they did. They don't know how they got to Barovia. I don't know, but now we're there. But I came in a different party. My party's dead, and so that was our hook to join. Mm-hmm. But that's what I like. It's just like, well, however we can tell a story to make this put together. It doesn't have to be like machinery that has to obey the laws of nature. It just has to fit the world you're in. And I love that about D&D. Yeah. And so now my whole thing has come full circle. There's a bunch of guys where I work play D&D, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yep.
I actually have people who I have gotten into Dungeons and Dragons who have gotten other people into Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm like their grandma.
yeah, D&D grandma, sure.
I'm like the D&D grandma.
That's cool.
I got my start in D&D from doing play-by-post role-playing online, so I've got a writing background. And being able to kind of merge theater with that, kind of like pull in all of these different aspects of my life that I didn't know could be connected, has been really fascinating.
That's cool. Play-by-post is fun.
Yeah. I think it was Matt Colville who was talking about how when people come up to him they don't tell him about their campaign story. They tell them about their character's story.
Hmm.
And how people remember the game through their character and through their character's experience.
Yeah.
So I think that's what is just super, super cool.
Yeah, that's why I think the RP side of D&D is so cool. I mean, it's fun to hack and slash and all that jazz, but I really, really love, and especially those are kind of the streams I search out, and the group I discovered is it's pretty RP heavy, so I like that.
Yeah, I mean, you were in my campaign, and we played a 3 or 4 hour session, and I don't think there was any combat in that session. In fact,
I don't even know that we rolled a die.
I might have had you make a wisdom check or two.
Something, yeah.
But it was so cool how you could come into my group and kind of pull out that role play. I think you made Mindy cry a couple times, which is all I want out of life.
Yeah, that was fun. That's a nice group too.
Yeah, they're good people. All of those people, except for one of them, are people that I have personally brought into Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice, cool. That feels good.
Yeah, and so I because I have high charisma in real life, I pride myself on being able to pull people together and get them to try something new. Even if it's peer pressuring them. So yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit about that character, about what he went through and what it was like?
Yeah, so that was our dwarf. What the heck was his name?
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember his name, but he was coming in having been banished from the kind of the kingdom, the clans, and he was a bit of an outcast, and he wanted to get back into the good graces with the main dwarven clan leader, but he had to work his way in, sort of sneak in the back door, have something to kind of offer and clear the air. And it was his brother that had been killed, right?
Yeah.
In a battle with the evils there. And so in, post-mortem of his brother, he had to kind of, find a way to let everybody know that it was actually his brother that had really kind of caused the problem with bringing the Dark Dwarves, the Druigar, up into the society and having the issues. It wasn't him, but my character had been willing at the time to take the fall and did so, and was able, with the help of some party members, through the faith and worship of a deity that wasn't a common, well-known deity in that world, kind of all came together there. And he managed to get himself back into good graces, not only in good graces, but was able to help kind of start a church in the community in which he was exiled. So he was like welcomed back into the clan, but didn't physically return. He stayed in the kind of I guess would be like the Australia, the 1800s, where all the baddies are sent to live together, sort of a colony of misfits, if you will. And he started a church for this deity in thanks for the help and faith of that deity, helping sort of to clear his dwarven name, which obviously, as dwarves go, is a pretty important thing to have happen. Yeah. So, so that was really cool. And I think we did make one of your PCs all emotional.
Which, of course, you guys can check out Mindy's interview. She tears up a little bit. Mindy has a lot of feelings, and they come out through her eyes sometimes. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I absolutely love it. In fact, my goal when I play with her is to make her cry, whether it's from happiness or just feeling too much, like you said earlier. And it was so fascinating to watch this character who was seeking redemption, and also my player character whose faith is essentially, she was put into a coma for about 1,000 years, and her deity, when she woke up, was gone. And her deity is Sarenrae, which you guys might know is actually not in the Dawn War Pantheon, but she woke up and she couldn't find any information about her deity. Oh, wow. And Sarenrae is the deity of redemption. Right. So it worked out perfectly for your dwarf, and it just it was a great time. I had such a good time.
Cool. That was a good long session too. I think we went about 4 hours.
I think we did. So tell me about. Have you ever been a DM?
Yeah, I just jumped into the DM broth here about. Castle Mac can probably tell us how long it's been in chat. Probably about 2 months, 2.5 months. a group of us had gotten connected in their Discord over there, and met and thought, geez, we got to get a game together. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
We're all D&D'd up after some, we should get a game.
Yeah.
And so we got a game together, and as is the case often, right? We had one guy in there that's, well, I DM all the time, so I really want to play. And another guy was like, well, I think I'm going to DM the other Wednesday group. And so I'm sitting there looking around, and I just picked up this little nugget like the weekend before.
I thought you were about to bring that dog back into the camera.
Yeah, well, he's
I heard
Nugget.
I heard little Nugget, and I thought of a dog. Sorry.
Gus is snoozing.
Mine is, snoozing right there.
So I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and just say, yeah, I'll DM, and then we'll see what happens. And, man, I'm loving it. It is so much fun. I was really nervous. It's been okay. I have a ton to learn, but I watch you, young lady, are a phenomenal dungeon master.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so flattered.
You got the game all figured out. That's fine. All that's good. But your theater of the mind descriptions, your the way you integrate characters and role play. I was nervous getting to play in your group because of just all the backstory, but you made it like shoehorn me in nicely. So people like you, like Steven on Castle Mac, Sean on Castle Mac, Will on Counter Roleplay, all these, so many good DMs to learn from. Grant Ellis, list goes on and on. But really, all I care about is making sure my players have a good game. And as long as they're having fun, I think you're doing it okay. I think you're doing it right. Voices will come and expression will come, and the mechanics. I'm still, 5e is still, 8 months into learning that. But boy, is it fun helping a group of people tell a story, especially when you get to sit back and they go. Mm-hmm. You threw a little thing on the table, and then they're just off and running.
Yeah, I definitely. One of my strengths is actually kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. One of my strengths as a DM is my confidence, and I only have that confidence because my players give me great feedback and letting me know, hey, what they like and what they don't like, and how when I did this thing, it was really cool, and this other thing was kind of crunchy and kind of strange or whatever. But especially my players in that group that you were in have given me just like this, they've boosted me up, and it's allowed me to pull them up with me, and it becomes this like just elevator that we're all on together.
It's like the better it gets, the better it gets.
Yeah.
And everybody has a part in that. Yeah, I'm feeling that.
Yeah. I was going to ask you Cyberwolf's question after I finished that one, but I see you answered it in the chat. I agree my strength and my dex my dex is better than my strength, but definitely I think I'm much more wise than I am intelligent. That's for sure. Yeah,
wisdom and intelligence are probably my best, but and dex is probably better than strength. Strength's probably my worst. I'm just not a fitness runner, exerciser. Yeah, I got great muscles right here from chewing and talking. That's a good question.
Yeah, it is. So I had another question, but then I started laughing at you and I totally forgot it.
I do that sometimes.
I know what it was going to be. Speaking of in real life stats, what are your real life class and race?
My real life class and race. So if I had to pick like a favorite class and race, I'm pretty Hobbit-like, I think. I don't play a lot of halflings in D&D, but I live halfling-ish. 2 or 3 breakfasts are good. I'm having a nice cup of coconut oolong tea. I like the outdoors, and probably druid or ranger. I like to be in the woods. I like to be out in nature. I like that a lot. And so I like to play rangers. I played a druid finally and really enjoyed it. It was a one shot, and I really enjoyed that. I've played a lot of clerics and paladins. My wisdom, that whole doing the right thing, being helpful. I got that vein running through my body pretty strong. So yeah, it's halfling, half elf, druid, ranger, cleric. Kind of in that.
Mm-hmm. Those wisdom based kind of. My first character was a ranger. So, okay, what class have you played outside of those that may be different from your wheelhouse that you have not played that you would like to?
Okay. I I played a storm cleric. Is that what that is? It's the cleric with the with the storm
Tempest?
um, tempest cleric. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is totally
Storm cleric
different
sounds cooler.
than a yeah. It does. I played it in a one shot, and I really enjoyed that. I also want to play a arcane trickster. I rolled
Ooh.
up a rogue. I'm not the world's best spellcaster. I'm not as clever as I think spellcasters should be, especially magicians, mages, and sorcerers, and so forth.
Mm.
And I like the combination of arcane and rogue because it's not the side of spellcasting that you fry things and blast stuff, and you do it to conceal, to hide, to trick, to persuade. It's illusion magic,
Yeah.
things of that nature. And I'm not good at that, but I think it would be kind of fun to learn how to do that because it's really easy in D&D to just rely on your blade
Mm-hmm.
or your fireball, magic missile, eldritch blast.
Guiding bolt.
And for me, it's a lot tougher of a character when I have to rely on my wiles and clever spell casting. So that's probably my biggest stretch class would be something more arcane, and the arcane trickster or just a pure wizard would probably be my biggest stretch.
Yeah. So we do have another question from Cyberwolf in the chat. You mentioned getting into Strahd recently. What has been your favorite or worst experience in Ravenloft so far?
Okay, so we just went through Argon something. It was like an abandoned sort of a castle, and dealing with the number of undead in Barovia is kind of scary. I'm playing a rogue, so I'm not, and he's a pure thief, a rogue archetype thief,
Mm-hmm.
level 7. The party didn't have anyone to deal with traps, locks. His background is gem cutter, jeweler, so he's an expert treasure hunter, is what I kind of built him as.
Oh, that's perfect.
And in Barovia, you're kind of, I feel like you're a little naked when you're that class in Barovia because you don't have any natural protection from undead. Some of them move through stuff you're hiding behind if you're a rogue, that kind of thing. And so it's a little scary being in Barovia. The werewolves I can deal with because, as anybody that plays enough 5e knows, rogues got really badass with sneak attack, and they can hold their own in combat.
Mm-hmm.
But dealing with undead is scary as a rogue, I think.
Take a level in Grave Cleric.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, do a little multi-class.
Grave Clerics, I'm always encouraging people to do because they're my class. Like when Taliesin, Jaffe. Oh, I can't talk about that because that might be spoilers. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. Who knows what I'm talking about? And I won't spoil anything for anybody. Grave Clerics are my class.
Yeah.
Grave Clerics and rogues.
Is that in? Oh shoot! What's that book with all the extra classes in it?
Xanathars.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it in there? Okay.
Yeah, it's from Xanathars. So we are. Oh, okay. A really good question from the chat. Have you had a perfect moment in a game yet? If so, what was it?
Oh man, that's a good question. Let me think about that a little bit. Have I had a perfect moment in a game yet? I don't know how perfect it was, but this is pretty damn good. A character in the group I'm DMing right now is playing a very kind of grew up in the wild, lost their parents early, and is coming to terms with it's an Earth genasi.
Oh.
So she looks different, doesn't know society, and she was kind of thrust into a manor house with bards and not royalty but nobility and things, and watching this character not know how to handle that, and then meet a crush, and the character is gay, so the crush was another female, and watching that, and as the DM having to play that NPC, that was pretty cool, watching that character come out of her shell a little bit. And now, of course, she has to take some pretty good natured ribbing from the rest of the party. We've had a dwarf that's gotten naked a couple times just because he's an older paladin and he's, fine bathing in the river, doesn't mind, and it's been fun to watch that particular character come out of her shell a little bit. So that's a particularly good, and that group, in fact, Misery is in that group, and that's going to happen again with Misery's character, and it's going to happen again with Likes the Villain's character. Both of those two characters are going to be coming out of shells of some kind. I don't know what they are yet because I don't have, it's their backstory, not mine. Right. But I think there's some, if we can keep that campaign moving, and the Into the Borderlands is actually 2 modules. It's 5th edition remake by Goodman Games of B1 and B2, Into the Unknown and the Keep on the Borderlands. And so we're going to have plenty of time to see each of those characters really blossom and come out of their insecurities or into the new environment that they're in that they're not accustomed to. And I think that's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great.
Yeah.
So we have about 5 minutes left. I wanted to ask you if you have anything that you want to plug, anything you want to just get the word out on, anything you want to share, anything cool coming up that you want to talk about?
I'll tell you, I'm going to be a bit of a homer. First of all, I've followed your channel. So I'm looking forward to all the one-shots and then your campaign in a few months. You mentioned on the channel that's going to be coming out. So, invite the folks in chat. First of all, thanks for hanging out. I got a bunch of friends in there, so that's cool. I have friends.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're nice and awesome. You get friends.
Well, you try to be, right? So I'm going to give that a plug, but I also DM on Wednesday nights over on Castle Mac. That's a good time. Great group. Like I said, we met in their Discord, and it's just a fun community. So build your Discord community. If you get to that point with this channel, it'll. I think the two work really well together. So as a bit of I've seen it happen. I'm part of it. It's really cool. So that's fun. And then on Monday, I'm going to be playing every Monday on Welcome Party RPG over there. And that goes off at 6 p.m. Eastern. And that's a weekly game with Zed is his name, is the DM. And that's a super diverse group. I think I'm the most ancient of the bunch. And I think Zed and I are the only 2 straight people in the group, so that's pretty cool.
Welcome to the Party has a lot of very diverse people in there.
It's a great community, yeah. The Castle Mac and that are both really welcoming, wide open, fun communities. So those are my 2 kind of shenanigans. And then come hang out with me on Twitter, at Wilyhobbit is my handle. And I'm coming up on 500 followers, which blows my mind. Wow. So I've got a couple of dice sets from Tabletop Loot that I ordered on their promo weekend this past weekend that I'm going to give away once we hit 500 followers. So
that's so awesome. That's so cool. Yeah. I think you are definitely doing this the right way, because I know a lot of people are maybe not in just specifically D&D related who are like trying to get like as many followers as they can on Twitter, and I think just the way that you're being so awesome and so positive and so
thanks.
Just really great. Like I said earlier, I love seeing your tweets on my timeline. I think that's the right way to build the community, and that's all I have ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I definitely look to you as an example for that. So I really appreciate you and all you do, and I so much appreciate you coming on and talking to me.
I appreciate you having me. I was shocked when you asked me. I'm like, what the hell am I going to talk about for 45 minutes? But
we could probably go for another few hours, but we have a one shot. On this channel in about 15 minutes. It's going to be DM'd by Kate, who you played with.
Yeah.
And it's going to be me, Alex, Mindy, and Ilana. So all people who have been on the channel before. So I highly recommend you guys stay tuned.
Stick around for that.
Yeah, we also just became an affiliate, which is really exciting.
So you're doing good stuff.
Yeah. It makes me. My heart is just exploding with happiness at how all of this is coming together.
Yeah. I just met you. I think that was February we played, February or March with Skull.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, I might be doing some streaming. This whole thing was, I think, it's just forming. And now look at you. You're an affiliate. You got D&D happening. Pretty cool.
Things just kind of have been coming together in a very, just serendipitous way. So I'm not gonna fight it. I'm gonna let it happen, and yeah, we'll see what happens. We'd love to, like I said, we'd love to have you on the channel sometime too as a guest.
Yeah, I'd love to come play.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend, or I guess it's the end of the week. Have a great Monday.
Still the weekend, sort of. Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya. Thanks for having me.